everyone, welcome to Speech 7. So I wanted to make a little video introducing the class and just kind of setting up the syllabus so that if you have any questions, hopefully this video answers them and you're not feeling lost on the very first week of school, because I feel like the first week is really important in kind of like deciding whether or not you want to take the class, whether the assignments work for you or not. So hopefully this answers some of your questions and makes the class a little bit more approachable. So I'm going to start with describing what intercultural communication is, just a very shortened version. Essentially, it's how do we communicate with other cultures. And so as part of this class, you're going to look inward and look at how your own cultural understanding informs how you communicate with people from different cultures, kind of look at whether you are a good intercultural communicator and how you can become better. And I think the cool part of this class is that it really teaches you tools that you can use to improve yourself, right? It's really about how do you become more open-minded? How can you come from a place of understanding when communicating with other people and not coming from a closed-minded place? And honestly, these are tips that whenever I teach this class, I'm just like, oh wow, I kind of just got a little bit more out of it. So hopefully you get something out of it that you're able to use in your daily life and yeah, just become more competent intercultural communicators. But let's get into the syllabus. So the first thing I'm going to answer that a lot of people have as a question is, what should you all call me? And you all can call me Alex. I'm okay with going by my first name. I don't feel offended by it. I don't feel upset. I don't feel hurt. That is my name, so that is perfectly okay to call me. That's how I've been signing my emails if you've emailed me, so hopefully that can kind of like ease you all into seeing like that it's okay to call me by my first name. But if you're not comfortable with calling me by my first name, you can call me Professor Lopez if that's something that you feel like is more something you want to do, right? But feel free to call me Alex, that is completely fine. Next is how to contact me. So the easiest way to contact me is through my email, my school email, which is alopez896@mountsac.edu. And that's going to give you the fastest response from me. I'll always respond to your email within 24 hours. And if I haven't responded within 24 hours, please send me a follow-up email and just be like, hey, did you get my email from yesterday? Just wanted to check in. Sometimes I'll miss an email because of just like the amount of students I have. So it's fine if it's that 24 hours has passed and you just follow up with me. I will usually respond way sooner than 24 hours, so don't be like, I have to wait a day to get a response back. Like, I usually respond right when I see an email, unless there's like, I need more information to answer the question. So yeah, alopez896@mountsac.edu, and if your Canvas messaging is hooked up to your school email, I think you can directly message me through Canvas and it'll get to my school email, I think. Next is, when are the meeting times for this class? And the answer is, this class is asynchronous, so we don't have set meeting times. So you can meet with me on Wednesdays. That's when I have my office hour from 6 to 7, and that's a time that you can kind of reach out to me. We can talk about the class. I can answer any of your questions. And I am going to try to set up some like Zoom meetings where people can kind of talk and get to know each other, and we have like maybe some activities, or we discuss like an intercultural movie or something, but that's kind of planning later on in the semester. And so look forward to that. I will update you in the announcements when that is going to happen. But as for right now, there are no set meeting times because the class is asynchronous and you can take it at your own pace. So that being said, the announcement at the beginning of the week is where you're going to get that information that I would be giving you if we were in class on Monday, right? So that's kind of like getting you ready for the week. What are the assignments? What do I need to do? What do I need to focus on? It's all going to be in that weekly announcement. And I'll send obviously more announcements throughout the week so that you all are like updated and feel kind of like you're in the class, and to remind you when things are due and all that good stuff. So look out for my announcements. That's my main way of contacting you. And if something that a lot of students have said has been helpful is to there's a way to like connect your announcements to your email, and so you get an email whenever an announcement goes up. So I'll figure out how to do that, and I'll put it on Canvas for you all. The next question that people ask is, what happens if I need to drop the class? And so if there's a point in the semester where you're like, I am no longer wanting to continue with this class, that is perfectly fine. My feelings will not be hurt. If that is like out of something that you need to do, that's totally understandable. But make sure that you are dropping yourself so that you don't end up getting an F at the end of the semester. So it's always better to get a W than to get an F. So make sure you're dropping yourself if you feel like you cannot continue with the class. But that being said, if something comes up, like any personal issues or life things, please let me know, and please keep the communication open, because I don't want you to drop the class because you had something happen in your life that was beyond your control, right? Especially during COVID, there's so much like uncertainty, and things happen and things change every day. So if something happens and you miss an assignment or you miss 2 assignments, keep me updated and we can usually work something out. I'm trying to be more flexible, especially now that we're online. It's a hard time. There's days where I'm just like, all right, another week online. It's a lot, right? Mentally, emotionally. So I completely understand. Just make sure you're reaching out to me right when right when you know that you're gonna have to miss something, and that way I'm updated and we are both on the same page. And that being said, another good tip that I like to give people is, if you feel like you have to email me, please email me as soon as you can, right? You don't want to wait on emails. This is something that would happen to me a lot as a student, is I'd be like, oh, I have this question, but I don't want to ask, and I feel like I don't want to bother them, and then my question would just go unanswered, and the only person that would and basically your professors want to answer your questions, right? We don't want you to be lost and confused. And usually if you have the question, you'll see an announcement like shortly after, because that's a good question that I'm like, oh, more people should know this, right? So always email me right when you have a question. That way you can get it answered as quickly as possible and you're not putting it off. And yeah, keep the lines of communication open. Obviously, it's a communication class, so just email me and I will get back to you as soon as possible. The book is free, which is like my favorite word when it comes to books, because books are expensive, and it is online. So every week you will get your chapter in the module, and that will be your reading for the week. So don't worry about buying the book. It is completely free. Another thing that is important to talk about is plagiarism. So a lot of people don't know what plagiarism is, or at least they make it seem like they don't know what plagiarism is. So I really want to make sure we're on the same page. Nothing breaks my heart more than a student that plagiarizes something and I'm just like, you probably could have done well on this assignment if this was your own work, but it just wasn't, right? So some things that constitute plagiarism: using an assignment from a friend or someone else, even if they took a different class, even if they like took it at a different school. Mount SAC's plagiarism detection program is like very, very advanced. So you don't want to try to like do the loophole thing. Like, it can even detect when something has been plagiarized in another language, which is wild. I don't know how the algorithm works, but it really wants to make sure you're not cheating. So using something that a friend has used before, using something that you've used as a previous assignment. Like if you took a sociology class and you're like, I'm going to just use this paper in speech 7, that's self-plagiarizing, right? Copying something word for word from a website without citing it or putting it in quotations is also plagiarism. And you just don't want to do that. It like is not a fun feeling to have that conversation, and you also just, it kind of takes away from the experience of speech 7. So make sure that you are being academically honest with everything that you turn in. Also, we should probably talk about what assignments you have for this class. So for this class, you have quizzes and discussion boards, which are going to be on a weekly basis. They're going to be based on the material from the readings, as well as some outside sources that I might pull in to create the discussions for the discussion board. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the assignments. So the assignments are going to be, a lot of them very similar to other online classes, weekly quizzes and discussion boards that are based on the readings for the week and maybe some like current events or things that are happening in the world. And then you will also have video assignments that are going to be due, I think, like every 4 weeks. And those are basically just like what I'm doing right now, which is talking without a script and just talking about, you'll have a prompt, obviously, that it's like, talk about this thing, right? And we should also talk about assignments, since that's probably the main thing you kind of want to hear from the syllabus. So for the assignments for this class, a lot of them are going to be really similar to other online classes you might have taken. So quizzes and discussion boards that are going to be due on an almost weekly basis, and those are going to be based on the readings and maybe current events, and just to get you all talking to each other and also evaluate your knowledge on these topics. And then also you're going to have every 4 weeks a video assignment due, and those video assignments are basically just you conversationally, they're not speeches, they're not formal, outline or write a script, but they're basically just talking about a prompt. And this is more so that you can kind of get to know your classmates, because it's on Flipgrid, so you can see each other's videos, and that'll be part of like the assignments as well, is looking at each other's videos. So I want you all to just kind of like have that class experience without actually being in class. And also it kind of gets you ready for if you ever have to do an online interview, because talking in front of a camera just like without someone else talking back to you is like a weird experience, and it takes some time to get used to it and adapt to that. So yeah, it's good practice for that as well. You also have a big paper that's due at the end of the semester, and that's broken up into little parts that are gonna be explained, obviously, with more instructions and more details on those assignments. It's basically an intercultural competence paper where you are going to be talking about looking at your own culture and your own cultural competence, and obviously more details to come. But we break up this paper so that it's not so much work at the end of the semester. You're kind of building up to it throughout the semester, and then at the end you turn in that big paper. And I think that is it for assignments. And then, like I said, there's going to be some optional Zoom meetings, office hours that you can come to, and then you'll have an extra credit opportunity later in the semester. And I think that is it. So yeah, that's it for this little intro video. Hopefully you all got something out of it and maybe got some of your questions answered. If you have any questions, of course, reach out to me and email me. But I am really excited to have you all in Speech 7 this semester, and have a good first week of spring 2021.